Well, hello there, my friends. Just laughing to myself here, having a good time with me. Just kind of silly. Anyway, hope this day finds you safe, healthy, and happy and thriving, doing whatever you're doing. Hope you're just enjoying your life, doing the best thing you possibly can. I don't know what's going on here, if there's an internet connection thing or what, but my picture seems to be a little shaky today. But let's just know that straightens itself out. We'll see what happens. I was laughing at myself because one of the we do everything we do here at the New Thought Media Network. We do on StreamYard, which is an incredible software. It's truly amazing. That you can do. I mean, you can do the whole show just sitting in front of your computer by yourself. I produce the entire show all by my lonesome, and sometimes you have to, if you don't stop and think, you get out of sync a little bit. And I'm like, I didn't know where my start music was and my picture. And so I got a little confused. That's why I was laughing. Here's a little CBD infused coffee to start the day here. Remember always that HempWorks is the sponsor of this show. And this CBD coffee is one of their really, really, really awesome products. 5 milligrams of broad spectrum CBD in every single cup. I like to mix it with my own home ground beans that I have in the morning. I love this in the afternoon because I can drink it and it doesn't keep me awake. It just gives me a nice lift. Love it, love it, love it, love it. This is the New Thought Media Network. I'm Ken Ludwig, and this is Vibrant Living, and a show about nothing in particular. This is like I'm the Seinfeld of New Thought. This show was meant to be about living a more positive and spiritual life, but as time goes by, it's really more about just functioning in this crazy world. Being able to be vibrant, healthy, alive, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. And I hope that's the message that I bring to you on a weekly basis from different perspectives, different points of view. It's let's read a little bit of Ernest here. Once again, I open up to nothing, not one of his famous quotes, just a here's something that I highlighted. This is really funny. Okay, so like this book is so old, a piece of the book just falls out in the middle of it. So I have to put my book back together while I'm here in order to read you a passage from the book. So, when the first house was lighted with electricity, the darkness did not groan and say, "How long have I been dark? How ignorant have been those who have permitted this darkness? What grievous mistakes they have made." The darkness said nothing. When the light spoke, and the light shone in that darkness, and the darkness was not. There were no devious paths other than the discovery of the light. There was no judgment of darkness against the light. There was no action of darkness upon the light. The light merely exclaimed, "Behold, I come," and the darkness disappeared. That's obviously a takeoff that Ernest wrote on a biblical quote. The light shone and the darkness comprehendeth it not. I think in so many ways, I think that quote is, or that little passage there is really applicable to everything that's going on in our world right now. It's not just about the light, it's about the truth. It's about reality. It's really, really, really crazy out there that we're living in a country in particular, but I think in a world. Hey, Wayne, how are you, buddy? Good to see you out there. We're living in a world where we live in alternate realities. We can't. It's hard to come to agreement on what is the truth and what is fact when we live in worlds where someone's reality is completely different from mine. It's like the old story when you went to the movies. You went to here's an example. Anybody ever see the movie Powder? Powder is a great old movie. It's probably 30 years old now. Now Lance Henriksen is its star, and oh my goodness, Steenburgen, whatever her first name was, I don't remember. But anyway, they were the stars of the show, and a young guy who I don't remember his name, but he was Powder. That was his nickname. His I can't remember his real name, his actual name in the show, but his nickname was Powder, and they called him Powder because he was completely white. He was albino in a sense, but at the end of the movie, it's a very spiritual movie. It's a very it's a very moving story about how we abuse people who are not like us, who look differently from us, who perform differently, who believe differently from us. We We tend to look down on them, or we tend to criticize them, or even abuse them, which is what happens in this movie. Near the end of the movie, there's a huge thunderstorm, and this young fella, Powder, runs out into the thunderstorm and spreads his arms wide and runs out into this field, this big old farm field. And the lightning strikes him, and he literally dissipates. He just becomes one with Mother Nature. And I can remember my first wife and I were watching that with a friend of ours, Gina. And Gina, when the movie was over, she said, she just very, very clearly said, I don't understand why he had to commit suicide. We looked at the exact same show, had two completely different takeaways, it's like we were looking at two different realities. Same thing is going on right now in our society. We look at what is, and because of the filters, because of the propaganda, because of media outlets that are blatantly lying, and you can go into all the false equivalencies you want about media always lies and blah, 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 blah. The truth is there is at least one media outlet, major media outlet, that paid $750 million in punishment for lying, for flat out lying to viewers, lying for power, ratings, money. Nothing to do with the truth. While their viewers were looking at the exact same reality I was looking at, they were being lied to about what they were seeing. Very 1984. Don't believe your lying eyes and your lying ears. Believe what I tell you. The height, the very epitome of demagoguery, which is, a thing, a place where we live. I had a meeting today. This is kind of going to be a rambling show, I can tell. I had a meeting today with a guy, 81 years old. He runs a thing called The Last Mile. The Last Mile is basically a 2-vehicle transportation service that he's created for people who are down on their luck, people who are Medicaid patients, people who don't have transportation, don't own transportation. There is no public transportation available. He provides transportation for big deal on, I think, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. He does multiple trips for people who need to go for dialysis. Dialysis, if you know anything about dialysis and cleaning out the blood system that the kidneys can no longer clean, that dialysis is hugely important. It's life providing for the people who need it. And this old boy is doing that. And he's set up shop in, he's got a great office. I didn't get to see the whole building, but the building is a Methodist church that has basically gone out of business. And the Methodist church didn't go out of business, but the region or whatever that is the governing body for different areas in the Methodist church stopped supporting this church, just very simply because there weren't enough people going to it to support it. So this fellow, David, he's taken this church over, or not taking over, he's renting space in the back of the church and an office space. And what his intention is to eventually take over the entire church and provide services for people. It's a really outstanding goal. And it's really an amazing structure and vision that he has. For an 81-year-old guy, pretty extraordinary. But while we were talking, obviously very Christian, and thinks that what he is doing and where he is right now is a retired guy, a retired engineer. This is where God has led him, and he believes that he will do this until God tells him otherwise, which is admirable in my book. I mean, I think a lot of us in metaphysics, we would refer to that guidance of God. That's into our intuition. That is the still small voice. That's the guidance on demand, God, the guidance on demand when we go into meditation, when we go into contemplation. And he made a couple of references that really, really blew me away. He said he was a Republican, but not a Republican like the Republicans that are running the government, and the Republicans who are adherents or acolytes, if you will, of the former president. He said he was a Republican in the old time sense, if you will. And if you know anything about politics, it was a much more honorable position to take in the world than what Republican politics would be today. He also said he was a Christian, but a Christian in the sense of he didn't really talk about himself so much as he talked about having to separate himself from a Christian pastor, and I don't remember which denomination, a Christian pastor who believed that the LGBTQ community, and he couldn't even get LGBTQ correct. He said, I don't even know if that's the right way to say it. And I said, that's okay, I get it, close enough. And he said he had to separate himself from that person because that person was a true believer that that those people, that those members of the LGBTQ community were had nothing to do or were not related to God and Jesus, which was what interesting to hear him say that. Refreshing, to be honest with you, because we live in a place here that I think they're sometimes referred to, North Carolina, as the buckle of the Bible Belt, and there's a lot of people here who are adherents to that nationalist. I so don't want to be political, but at the same time, I want to make the point that Christian nationalist Republican thing that is not representative of all people. It's certainly not representative of democracy. It is a far cry from what's recognized as the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, and is a way far cry from what I would consider to be traditional Christianity. I believe that what is passing for Christianity and that Christian nationalist movement is an authoritarian dictatorial kind of craziness. But anyways, really nice to hear this older gentleman who's from this area talking of just in a more sane sense. When you're someone like me, if you're a political animal like I am, you listen to lots of snippets from MSNBC and CNN. I watch little tiny bits and pieces of the talk show, the opinion pieces from Fox News. I can't listen to very much of them because they're such obvious lies. I mean, that's just crazy. It's just nuts. But for someone who obviously has that liberal bent, that progressive bent that I would have, the metaphysician and the liberal metaphysician, to hear this old boy talk about traditional value-based Republican and Christian traditions was very, very, very refreshing. And that would go back to that reading from Holmes, shining the light, because there's plenty of darkness. The darkness is everywhere. The darkness is, there seems to be a light switch depending on which room you walk into. In my house is many mansions. Which room you walk into. If you walk into the Fox room, you flip the switch and the light doesn't come on, it stays dark. And too many people are being fed the darkness, being fed the alternate reality, the alternative facts, as one Kellyanne Conway so inimitably stated it. Alternative facts. Of course, we all know there's no such thing as alternative facts, but that was what they refer to as Earth 2. This is Earth 1. That reality is Earth 2. So yeah, so it's just an interesting time. I just came back from a trip to New York. So my lovely wife Lisa and I, my beloved, we spent 6 days up in New York. We drove up and drove back, which is just I'm enjoying the driving thing, except the drive back was brutal, simply because of lack of sleep, blah blah blah. Anyway, had a great time up in New York. First went to Connecticut, saw an old high school friend and his wife. We spent 2 days with them. Lovely time with them. And then we went took the ferry across Long Island Sound from Bridgeport, Connecticut to Port Jefferson, Long Island. That's a great trip. I mean, it costs $80 for the car and a driver. If you bring another person, it's an extra $19. Worth every penny because it saves you the driving, and you just get to look out at the ocean, the Long Island Sound, and it's very peaceful and calming. And the the ferry, as it takes an hour and 15 minutes to get across the sound. The ferry is going at just a nice, even pace. And it's just kind of cool, kind of lovely. And we stayed with my sister Elizabeth and her husband David and their daughter Samantha. Just, three of my favorite people on the entire planet. We stayed with them for whatever it was, 4 days. And on Sunday last week, we celebrated my brother-in-law John's father, his name is Taylor. Taylor, we celebrated his 100th birthday. He had turned 100, whatever Sunday was, the 13th. He'd turned 100 4 days before, I think on the 9th of August. And so 100 years old. This is a guy that up until just a couple of years ago, somebody told me he's still doing it, but he mowed his own lawn with a push mower well into his late 90s. And someone said he still does it. And I was kind of like, he kind of moves kind of slow. I'm like, oh, what's he do? Just start over every Monday? Just row a couple of rows a day? Because he's 100. He's 100. And so that was a great party. Then we got to bed late. We got up early. We hit the road. We got to a place called Shippensburg, PA. We were looking for a nice hotel. My beloved is kind of attached to the Marriott chain with points and that kind of thing. And we couldn't find a Marriott. Evidently, that's the area where we're looking to stop is not far from Gettysburg and some historical areas for the Revolution and the Civil War. And the hotels were full. So we wound up at a Clarion Hotel in Shippensburg. Didn't look like, and I said to Lisa, what we're really looking for is a bed and a shower in the morning. That's all we really need, and they had the little buffet in the morning. So it was a perfect little stop. So we get there, we get to bed. I can't remember what time it was now, but whatever time we get to bed, I get up, go to the bathroom at 2:30 in the morning. I step into the bathroom, water drips on my head, and there's a quarter of an inch of water on the floor of the bathroom. The ceiling was leaking. It was raining outside. We were on the 4th floor, top floor of this hotel. So now Lisa is absolutely out like a light, and I do not want to wake her up. I want to let her sleep. I want her to enjoy the night, enjoy a good night's sleep so she could drive a couple of hours in the morning. We had about 6.5 hours left to go to get back here to Mocksville. And so I didn't want to wake her up. Then the drunken person that was rooming next door comes back to his room and turns on the TV set. That wakes Lisa up. Call the front desk. The front desk calls the room twice. I can hear the phone ringing. The guy never answers. The lovely man at the front desk, Benjamin comes up to the 4th floor, bangs on the guy's door several times, no answer. So I called him back and I said, you know what, he didn't answer. I know that. I know you called him and you tried to get in, but this is unacceptable. We can't sleep and I got to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to start the drive again. So at 3:30 in the morning, we moved to another room. Needless to say, we didn't get up at 5. We got up at 6. We were both exhausted. Did a little bit of the buffet and hit the road. So it was a brutal ride home. We got home by whatever the heck time we got home. Got home by 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Oh, we got home. We had to have the car back at 4. So we got back to the house at 3, dumped everything out of the rental car, jumped in drove the half an hour to the rental car place and turned in the rental car, back home by 4:30. Day's over. End of story. Actually, we didn't go home. We went out to have a little dinner at Restaurant 101. Great place in downtown Mocksville. Great. They have a Reuben sandwich that I just can't get off of. They have so many lovely things on the menu. Platters full of food go by, trays full of food. And I'm like, wow, that looks good. That looks good. That looks good. Give me a Reuben. If it's on the menu, I got to eat it. It's kind of funny. So that's what's been going on in my life. I am, that's, you know what? I don't have a lot for you today. I advertised the show as Random Thoughts for Thursday afternoon. There's some random thoughts for you. I always want you to remember, that the New Thought Media Network is a nonprofit organization. And so if you go to newthoughtmedia.org, that's ntmedia.org, click on donate. And we're grateful for whatever you give us. Whatever it is, however much, we're happy, we're grateful. It's what keeps us alive and running. By the way, and part of your donations help to do things. I'm not sure when it's going to run, but the founder of the network, Reverend Robert Brzezinski, was at the Parliament of the World's Religions. And Something I think he attends almost every single year. He got to do an exclusive one-on-one interview with Marianne Williamson. That will be on the network here somewhere on the line. I'm not sure when, but that'll be a great opportunity to listen to hear Marianne. I'm sure she'll talk about what's going on in this country and her political views. She is running for president. Her chances of becoming president of the United States are about as slim as they could possibly be. But the truth of the matter is, nobody, I mean, absolutely nobody, has more important views that are to the benefit of the people of the United States than Marianne Williamson. So if you keep your eyes out when Robert gets back from the Parliament, I'm sure he will post this interview, and it'll be fabulous to have it on here to give us a little bit of a boost and give us a reason for your donations. That's what keeps us going, helps us keep moving. If you want to find me, you can find me and my beloved Lisa on our branded Facebook page, Vibrant Aging, which of course goes right along hand in hand with Vibrant Living, the name of the show. You can send me an email at teamrockitnow@gmail.com. Always remember that the sponsor of this show is HempWorks. HempWorks, as I said earlier, is the maker of my incredible hemp-infused coffee, 5 milligrams of broad-spectrum hemp in every single cup. My full-spectrum peppermint-flavored CBD that I take every single morning, every night before bed, a full dropper full. Nothing relieves stress. Nothing helps you sleep. And in a lot of instances, nothing relieves pain like CBD. Pain thing is different for everybody, but the stress relief and the sleep aid are almost universal for everyone. This is the purest, cleanest, most potent CBD you're going to find anywhere. In the course of only 5 years, this company has gone from brand new in the world to the #1 direct-to-consumer producer or distributor, if you will, of CBD and CBD-infused products. Also under that same umbrella, which is the umbrella of My Daily Choice, which is a house of brands that has at this point approaching 20 brands underneath their umbrella. You can find, that's at mydailychoice.com. You will also find, if you're somebody who's into the essential oils, the most extraordinary essential oils you will find anywhere are the Mantra brand, which is also under My Daily Choice. I've been told by distributors of the best known name in essential oils, I have been told that our essential oils are more potent, last longer, and they're a better price. So there you go. There's something else to look at right there. That's all under the My Daily Choice umbrella. You can see that scroll at the bottom of the screen there. Also, for those of you, you're looking to get in shape, maybe lose a few pounds, under that same umbrella is bodymelt.com. And if you use those, actually just go to My Daily Choice, because those that they changed that URL. It doesn't, it's not the same URL anymore. So, what else do I have to tell you? You know what? On Instagram, if you're interested, I'm on, I'm evolving_hippie on Instagram. It's been a while since I've even done anything on Instagram, but I'll be back eventually. There you go with the donate button again. If you are so inclined, ntmedia.org, click on donate. And again, we're just absolutely beyond thrilled for anything and everything you would bestow upon us. That's it for me. I hope you will join me this every Thursday, 2:00 Mountain Time, 4:00 Eastern Time. I wish you all the love and blessings the universe has to offer. I am, as always, immensely grateful for the great gift of your time and your attention. And until the next time, and I hope you will join me right here on the New Thought Media Network for Vibrant Living. But until then, namaste.